Is that the same as confusing extreme emotion with intuition, and the results that happen out of decision making, where people trust their extreme emotion over and call it intuition? Where you see a lot of people doing this, right, in relationships, when they go out and say, okay, this so and so person is for me, they're abusive, they have a history of alcohol, etc., but I still feel, my gut says that they are for me. But you're actually mirroring things that are in and around you to try and make and forming decisions on that. Is that the same? Are you confusing, are people confusing extreme emotion with intuition?
It's a difficult question to answer. And the reason I'm saying that is not because we can't answer it, but because I'm a little afraid of how people will take it. The first thing that someone has to understand is you're a byproduct of programs that are instilled in you that don't belong to you. So the way you show up in a relationship and the person you type to choose in a relationship is a byproduct of your past conditioning. Now, before you can even listen to your intuition, you need to have made sure you healed all of that. Okay. So for example, let me give you an example. For the longest time, I thought, you know, I had a commitment phobia in relationships. That's what I thought. That's what people told me, and I like my freedom, all of that. And I sat with that and I realized, okay, I don't have a commitment phobia because I'm in a relationship. So, the mere fact that I'm in it, how can I be afraid of it? I'm in it. I'm
True.
not, so I'm there. So I said, what is it that's preventing me from now going perhaps 10 layers deeper in my commitment in that relationship? Okay. And then you stick with that and you peel away the layers of that. And then I realized, okay, the thing that prevents me is conflict. You know, I get very triggered by emotional conflict. When I feel that the situation is not going to be rational and I feel that the conflict is going to go on and be very cyclic, I get scared and I get scared to invest too much of myself. Then I pull that a layer deeper and I said, okay, where did conflict come from? Where did this fear come from? No one's fought with me. I've not had a bad relationship. I've not had bad parenting or bad upbringing. Where did it come from? And I sat with that. And I realized that, and it took me 3 months of working with a therapist to figure this out. Right? The 3 months told me that I grew up as an Indian person in South Africa wanting to play sport for my country. I grew up in an apartheid environment with discrimination. Right. From the time I'm 15 years old, my parents initially didn't want me to pursue sport. Right. So there was a struggle, there was an emotional push to get them to buy into that. Then there was an emotional push every single day, right, in trying to get an opportunity. I had to fight every single day, not just me, every person of color in that time had to fight 500 times harder. So I've realized, and pulling that narrative all the way to where I am today, I've realized I'm emotionally exhausted. You know, I can thrive, I can work hard, but I'm emotionally exhausted. I just don't want to fight anymore. Right. I want a sense of ease and effortlessness in that. Now, why am I giving you this example that's very personal to me?
Appreciate that.
Is I'm saying it's not so easy to just say, you know, this is right for me, this is wrong for me. It's not so easy to say I should
Yeah.
listen to my intuition. Right. It's about how do you understand the layers below every single thing to understand whether it's your intuition, whether it's your programming, and then how willing are you to do what is needed to reframe that or correct or reprogram that.
Peel off the layers.
You have to peel off the layers. It's such a
It is.
deep
Yeah.
intuitive science, you know, that it's not a one day journey. It requires deep commitment
Yeah.
to that process. You're going to change every single second of that day because even now I could peel away even more layers
It's
of
true.
that. Right? And and I keep asking, I keep telling people, I have this beautiful exercise which I call the story of your life, which I call an emotional growth tracker. So I said, anyone pick, and for me, my story of my life is me growing up in an apartheid. Just that
Yeah.
simple sentence. I journal about the same experience every single year, right? To look at what are the new learnings, what are the new pains, what it is, to look at an emotional tracker for how a single incident in my life is helping me grow. Right? Isn't that growth? Isn't growth how you view your pain? How you're able to grow from your pain? How you're able to see new perspective out of pain? Yeah? That is what growth is. But the problem is nobody reflects on it consistently enough and long enough to understand where they're growing and how they're growing.
Because it constantly exposes you to things that you're hurt by, right? It keeps bringing up, like, when you were speaking, I remembered this beautiful quote by Deepak Chopra. I think it says, observing yourself without judgment is the highest form of human intelligence.
Yes. This
It is so true. But it's a lot of work, isn't it? It's a lot of work, and you got to put in the work for you to get to that place. But it's tough. It is tough for a lot of people.
It's tough, but it's people want it easy. I had an example with one of my relationships, and I see this a lot in people that I counsel as well. They know they need help, but they're prepared to do the work on condition that the relationship is held together and they stay together. And I keep saying I said, you do realize that you are holding that person to you're holding an emotional gun to their head. And why are you linking your growth to whether that person wants to be with you or not?
Oh, wow.
Firstly, the mere fact that you've recognized
Yeah.
that you need to grow means that there's already something that could sabotage this relationship. Okay? And the mere fact that you'll do it only if this relationship continues means you've already put too much of importance on that person and not enough on yourself, which means that in 6 months' time, you're going to be in the exact same position as well.
The absence of counterbalance.
The absence of counterbalance in some shape and form. So people, the journey of self-inquiry is long, it's hard, it's painful, it's deep. And a lot of people don't even know why they want to go in it. A lot of the times they go in it because there's a trigger of pain. But pain is temporary. Buddhists say everything is impermanent. Happiness is impermanent, joy is impermanent, success is impermanent, pain is impermanent. All right. And the problem is, soon as there's even a subtle shift in that pain, the impetus to want to continue on that journey dwindles. And that's the problem.
I spoke about this on the previous episode as well. It seems like we'd rather suffer than change the way we live. It seems like that.
We rather suffer because we fear change.